Hello, my name is Yeji, otherwise known as ANdmadeco here on YouTube and on Instagram. Today I have a different type of video for you. Well, same background, same everything, but I want to look back at my previous purchases from the past 6-7 months, so since January, and see if I've used the yarn or the patterns that I've bought since then. The reason I'm doing this is because looking forward to Flock Fiber Festival, I'm kind of really lost at what I want to get or what I even want to think about buying. And so I wanted to look back and see the items that I've bought so far this year and see what I've used. So last year at Flock Fiber Festival, I bought these types of yarns and I'll have a picture to show you what I bought. Wasn't making videos then, and I'm really happy to say I've used it all. And so I was thinking that I was doing such a great job, but then thinking back to my other purchases this year, I think there are areas where I could definitely improve. I will do everything I spent around yarn knitting in December when I wrap up the year, and I do everything from December 1st to November 30th. And this is just trying to look back and see what I've bought and if I'm surprised by any purchases that I forgot about and what I've done with the things I've bought. Personally, I like to have a collection and I like to have yarn that I don't have immediate plans for when I first buy it, because then when test projects come up or when different knits that I want to knit come up, I can go back into my collection and not have to go out to buy new yarn. And I like to kind of pair it together then. And of course, with this type of video, I want to put in a disclaimer saying that it doesn't matter if you have yarn, if you've bought yarn, if you have more, if you have less, and what you've purchased versus what you haven't purchased. Personally, for me, I just like to purchase some yarn sometime, and also I try to buy yarn with purpose, but also if it's a special occasion or if I'm out and about and at a different yarn store, then of course I'll purchase and everything. So it's really personal preference, and I'm not trying to say anything about anybody else. And this is personally what I've accumulated in the past 6-7 months. I have, I think, created quite a few projects so far, and a lot of that yarn did come from yarn that I already had before this year, and also some of that came from what I bought this year. So it's a mix of different things. I am not strict on first in, first out for yarn because I feel like yarn doesn't go bad to a certain degree, and also I keep all of my yarn stored in plastic bags and all of that. And I know that there's a disclaimer here and this part of the video is long, but I want to also introduce this video. The idea from this video comes actually from booktubers, specifically Books and Lala, who I love to watch. And she did a series where she would watch her past book hauls and see what she's read and what she hasn't read. For yarn, it doesn't work the same way because they're in project quantities and I'm not counting specific skeins. This is very non-mathematical. I just want to see in terms of project quantities what I've used versus not used versus what I've donated / given away. So maybe I'll have a stat somewhere on the screen that goes up with every project, but I'm not counting it as, oh, I bought 6 skeins for a specific project, but I've only used 5. So it's 5 out of 6, or 5 and used and 1 and not used. I would just say they're all used because the yarn served this purpose in general, and then whatever I do with that leftover skein, be it a new project or whether I donate it or give it to a friend, I feel like that is just extra on top of the amount that I've already invested in the yarn for its purpose. Another disclaimer I want to put in is that I'm sorry if this video is quite choppy. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work. I think it's going to take a lot of editing, but I'm imagining myself just being on a smaller screen while I'm watching my iPad and reacting to what I bought. And so I'll have my earphones in while the actual video playing will be on the large screen, and we'll see how it goes. I'll have to still figure it out. And so I'm sure that I'll probably do one of these again, maybe at the end of this year or in the beginning of next year. I just like to see what I bought versus what I used and see if there's any discrepancy of the things I'm buying versus I'm using, and we can talk about all of those thoughts at the end of the video. I hope this won't be too long of a video, and so now let's just get started. So first we'll go over the patterns I've purchased and see what I've used versus what I haven't. All of the free patterns and all of the ones that were gifted by designers for test knits or were test knits we'll skip because those I didn't purchase with my own money. So I'll only go over the patterns that I've actually purchased. And for this, you're getting a semi-first reaction from me. I did have to screenshot these, but I haven't looked through and seen specifically line by line what's on here. So we'll go through that. First, the bocce sweater was my first purchase this year, and that I've made the bocce sweater with, so I'm really happy about that. And there are two on this image that I've purchased but I haven't made, and that's the Gale and the Ghostwood mittens. And those are two purchases that I made because the patterns were on sale, but I haven't made it yet. In this image, I've only purchased a Sophie hood, and I've also since made it for my sister. In this image, only the Look at My Holes by James & Watts was a purchase pattern, and I've also made Look at My Holes by James & Watts, so I feel good about this one too. And in this image, I made 3 of the patterns, and I've purchased 3 of the patterns, which are Vertices Unite by Stephen West, Tally Alley Socks by Michele Frazetta, and Alpine Bloom by Kayla Hunter. I've also made Sundae, but that was a test knit, so we'll skip that. And here we're not doing so well because I purchased a stripe overload cardi and I haven't made it yet. I have the yarn for it, haven't made it. And the same with Adore Rib Summer Cardigan by Mommy Choi. I haven't made this yet, but I also did purchase this pattern. And for this image, I did purchase Ava V cardigan and I have not made that. And I thought I was going to use that instead of the home cardigan by Kadri, which I made for my mom. So I'm not sure if the Ava V cardigan will be something that I'll ever come to, that I'll ever want to make, but I have the pattern now, so I guess I can make it at any time. And so the home cardigan I purchased, I made. The Eva cardigan by Petite Knit was a sample knit, but Emily did offer to send it to me. I thought I had bought it because I wanted to make it for a really long time, but it turned out that I hadn't bought it yet, so I just purchased the pattern, and I know I'm going to make an Eva cardigan for myself sometime next year. And I think this is the only image where I've purchased every single pattern on this image. And the sardine sweater I just finished. I put up a project vlog and haven't sat down to talk about it, but that will be in the next video. The Anna Cortez pullover I haven't made yet. I have plans to make it for my husband, but I just haven't yet. The Stockholm slipover v-neck is something I'm working on currently, so we'll talk about that in the next video too. But the Stockholm slipover v-neck by Petite Knit is in progress. And Make Myself Flowers Vest I've made by Vexnaw Studios, so I'll have an image of my version as well. So based on my notes, I think this year I purchased 17 patterns so far, which isn't too bad, I think, because that's around 2 or 3 patterns a month. And I've used 11 of them, and 6 of them I have not used. Of the 6 I haven't used, I don't have plans really to make the Ava V cardigan, and the Gale and the Ghostwood mittens are not priority right now. But they are very beautiful projects, so I probably will want to make it when the weather turns warmer. 2 projects that I really want to make and that I'm sure I'm going to make 100% this year are the Anna Cortez pullover, as I said, by Michele Frazetta for my husband, as well as the stripe overload cardigan. I think this by Me Faring, Spectacle Strict, and that was on my list for spring knits, but I think will be pushed to fall knits, and I'm definitely going to be making that this year. So that leaves the Adore Rib Summer Cardigan by Mommy Choi, and I really want to make it, but I'm not sure if I have space to make it this season, in the summer season, and so I'm not sure if that's going to be pushed to next year, and that's something I'm thinking about right now. Even if it's pushed to next year, it's not like patterns go bad, that's fine. Overall, 17 patterns, using 11 of them, 2/3. I would say that I did all right, not the best, but also not the worst, I think. And overall, I think the number of 17 is quite low compared to the number of patterns that I make, because I do a lot of test knits. I also get gifted patterns because of test knits, and also anything that's a sample knit or anything, the patterns get sent to me. So I'm really happy with where I'm currently at. And also this year I did make some patterns that I bought previously in the years past that I haven't made before. So overall, I'm not too stressed about the patterns. So now let's get started with the meat of this video, seeing what yarn that I've purchased versus what I've used during this year. So it looks like the first video that we made this year is episode 14, and I don't think I purchased anything, so that we're heading off to a strong start this year. And in episode 15, I think the only purchase I have is Isair Alpaca 2, 1 ball of Isair Alpaca 2 for my anemone sweater, and so I'm really happy because I finished that sweater this year. Color that I needed, or that I wanted for my anemone sweater from Knitting for Olive by Perennial. Episode 16, I think that's where I did my first Fiber Gallery, because Fiber Gallery was a local yarn store that was closing, or that has since closed. And so I think this is the first video that I have 2 acquisitions from there, and this is the large one, I think. So I don't think we're going to be as good in this video. I had a gift card from my sister for Christmas, and so I didn't have to supplement a whole lot to buy a sweater's quantity. And so first I'm talking about the anemone sweater, and I've made the anemone sweater as I said, so we'll skip over all the Knitting for Olive purchases that went in to the anemone sweater. And after I finished making the anemone sweater, I've also given away the leftover soft silk mohair as well as all the yarn that I had left over from that project, so I don't have that in my house anymore, which I also feel really great about. Alright, and next we have the Explorer Knits and Fibers, which I received a gift card for Christmas, and then I've made a purchase where I bought 2 packs of the Leave No Trace collection. From this, I got 8 skeins of DK weight, the Earthy DK yarn, and I've used 2 of them, one for the Ning Beanie as well as the other in the Make Myself Flowers vest very recently. And so I still have 6 skeins left, and I'm still debating on what I want to do with this yarn. This is because the fiber gallery. So we have first the Mano Stellar Gray Franca yarn, which I've made, and I got 2 skeins of that. So I've made one hat for both hats are actually for my parents, but one hat for my dad with the white yarn, one pink hat for my mom, the Tilda. And the Wool Dreamers Manchalopes is what I use for my bocce sweater by Mommy Choice, so I use that one as well. The Fiber Co Zero and Angelic I didn't buy with a plan, but I did use it in my sister Sophie hood by Petite Knit. And Fiber Spates Cumulus, which Michele loves, yes. In the color Slate, I have not used this yet. Madeline Tosh Silk Cloud, I think I haven't used most of these. The black one I have plans to pair with my Kelburn Woolen Scout, and I haven't done that yet, but it is on my Make 9, so I'll definitely do it for this year. And currently I'm thinking of the Lakes Pullover by Ozetta. And I knew that this yarn would come up in this video, so I have the Madeline Tosh Great Grey Owl, as I mentioned. I'm planning on pairing it with this Madeline Tosh Merino Light in turn. And I was recently accepted to a test knit for Tori U, and so that is in a DK weight yarn. This is a fingering with a mohair, so I think I can get gauge with this yarn, and I'm excited to make it. This Tosh Silk Cloud in Sooth I haven't used. I don't really have plans to use it yet, so we'll have to see where I can use it. The Fluoro Rose I didn't end up using with the Scranton Stitcher yarn. I actually ended up using with the Fluoro Rose yarn that I got from Explore Knits and Fibers, and that I put in my Make Myself Flowers vest. And the Shopple Zauberball Crazy, you heard it here first, but I will be giving it away in my Flower Power Mal as a part of my giveaway. And this yarn I love. I was always planning on either using it or giving it away, but if I can give it away, then that's perfect for me, and I feel really good doing that. So that will come in my next week's video as well, where I plan everything that I'm going to be putting into my portion of the giveaway. And the Farm Twist and Antler I've used in my Make Myself Flowers vest. This is where I bought the Driftwood and Midnight, my first 2 skeins of it. I've since bought 2 more skeins of it, as well as some silk mohair to go along with it, and that will be used in my Stripe Overload cardie sometime this year. I'm not sure when, but it will definitely happen this year. So these I wasn't as good about. I was really into making mittens after making the Alma mittens, and I wanted to make more of those. I just didn't have time, I think, in the winter season, and that's something I want to come back to when the weather gets cooler. Currently, it's really warm in Seattle, so I don't want to think about working with bulky weight wool yarns. So these 2 yarns I have not used yet. And now we're on to episode 17. I feel like this is going faster than I thought it would originally. Hopefully that'll make this week. So what I'm showing now is the Cascade yarns in Lana Grande, and I've used them both. So I've used both colors, and I've made hats for my mom and my dad. Yes, and the soft silk mohair I did use with the Wool Dreamers Manchalopes to make the bocce sweater. I've also used in the Ning Beanie with a skein of Explorer Knits DK, and that was a test knit. I'm super happy I got this yarn to pair with that for that hat. I didn't realize this, but apparently I went back to Fiber Gallery the next week, probably because I couldn't get the sale out of my head, and I think we're going over some of that yarn starting now. I have not used these 2 Hazel Knits yarns, and now we have the West Yorkshire Spinners yarn, and thank you Stella at Milk Enthusiast. Because of her, I've used these yarns. I used the Christmas Robin and the Rouge color to make socks, matching socks with my friend Stella at Milk Enthusiast on Instagram. I have not used the Pink Flamingo yet, so that's something I still have in my collection. Kelburn Woolen's Camper is something I have also not yet used. And I have another 2 skeins of the Kelburn Woolen's bulky weight Germantown, but I have still not used those as well. This is also when my friend Betsy gave me her Freckled Whimsy Advent yarn that she had leftovers from making her sock, and there was enough to make another sock. So I used this to make my sock, and I'm so happy with that pair. And she also gave a Madeline Tosh twist light that I've also made socks with. I made the Tally Alley socks by Michele with these colors. All right, now we're on episode 18. I'm using some of the yarn that I bought, and I haven't bought anything for episode 18. And in episode 19, it seems like I bought the Calvin Woolens Mojave in the cactus green color that I made the EO slip over with, as well as the Cardiff Cashmere Classic, just one ball of it in the black color that I made a Sophie scarf with. I also did use that drop snow in the hats that I made for my parents. And I think episode 20 fell right after Valentine's Day, so I think these are gifts from my husband for Valentine's Day now. I still love this project bag. This Calvin Woolen Scout in Navy Heather I will be using very soon because I am doing a test knit for Dalbaudre and for the Finch sweater, and that calls for a DK weight yarn, so I will be using the set of yarn for that sweater. And in episode 21, I'm not sure if I talk about this at the end of the video, but I did receive 2 skeins of yarn, the Barocco Modern Linen, which I've used to make Look at My Holes that I'm currently wearing in this video. And I also received the Modern Luxe, I think it's called, the yarn that I made for my daughter to wear her little bonnet. And I've also used that yarn, so I'm really happy that I've used the yarns that were gifted and sent to me. That's all for this video, which is great. And in episode 22, we don't have any more acquisitions, which is perfect. In episode 23, I think this is just before I headed off to Asia, and I don't have anything here, which is great as well. In episode 24, I'm looking quite swollen, and that's because I was quite sick. I think this is the day after we got back. So we got back on Friday and I filmed on Saturday morning, or we got back on Thursday and I filmed Friday morning, one of the two. But I do have some acquisitions from Asia and some acquisitions that were gifted from my sister, so let's go through it. It's extra special because she was able to pet the alpaca, so we'll see. I think that I'll probably make a striped hat and then gift it back to her or something, but it probably won't be for a... So these are alpaca that my younger sister has taken a trek with, and Apollo and Zodiac. I've used these yarns to make the Rudolph charm by Sari Nordland. And we have the little charm code, the stitch markers / progress keepers, but of course, they're just progress keepers. I use them from time to time. All right, so from Panel Story in Korea, I have not used the yarns that I've gotten from here yet. So this red cream cashmere or cashmere cream yarn, I want to make a Maggie cardigan in, and I have not yet, I don't have the exact plans for it, sometime in the fall maybe, or into the winter. But I know that this sweater quantity is with me, and I definitely have plans on using it. I just have not done it yet. This Slow Step in the color 120 blue is something that I didn't really have plans on buying, and I just went and I saw it and I bought it. However, I've since heard that it does pill quite a bit, so I'm not sure how well it will hold up in socks, which is my biggest hesitation in using it. But if I can use it as a contrast color for something, then I definitely will. I'm not sure about this yarn, and this is something that I did not plan for the purchase, so it's something that I don't feel like is a high priority for me to use. But at the same time, I have it, so we'll see if I actually do use it soon. All of the tags and everything that I purchased, I divided into little baggies, and I've since gifted it to friends. And so I'm really happy to say that the accessories, buttons, they don't go bad, even if I have buttons for a while and everything. I mean, it's not like yarn goes bad too, but I feel like buttons, I'll just buy cute buttons even going forward without plans on using it, because I never know what project might call for different size buttons. And this is something I wish I bought more of actually when I was in Korea, because it was so inexpensive with the exchange rate and everything, but also they had a lot of options that I feel like I can't find here in the States. And here, now we're on episode 25. I ran out of the bottle green color, the Isair Alpaca 2, and so I went and bought another one of that, but I also used it. And seems like that was it for episode 25, which is great. And in episode 26, this is when I finally finished the anemone sweater that I bought a lot of yarn for in the past, so that's great. I also bought more yarn to make the stripe overload cardi, because at that point I thought that it would be quite a priority knit, and it was an impulse purchase because I saw my friend Stella's version, again, milk enthusiast, and I still love the cardigan. I still really want to make it, and I just need to make time for it. Block Fiber Festival rolls around, and so I was already thinking about Flock Fiber Festival this year's in episode 27, which I think happened sometime in April, if I'm not wrong. And so I'm still thinking about it. I'm still at the same stage, but right now, at least I can organize my thoughts with this video. And the matching mohair for the same stripe overload cardi. I guess I've put my purchases over 4 or 5 weeks to make this cardigan that I still have not made. And this is the episode, I think, where I started getting more into summer yarns and summer knits. So I think I will have made a lot of the items that I show the yarn for. I really hope that's the case. Noro Sonata and Catmint, I made my Colette tee with it, and I have a vlog of it as well. And this is when Tea Cozy, in their month of the yarn, or in their yarn of the month, had the Sandusgarn Tinline, and I bought this color, the Sunny Lime color, and I made my Sofarine tank by Audrey Borrego in this yarn, and so I use this yarn. And I am still very inspired by Maddie at By Thread Knits. Okay, so this is now episode 28, the end of tulip season. The tulips are looking quite sad in this video. And yet another purchase to make the Stripe Overload cardi. I don't know how many times I can mention this cardigan in this video, but now I feel like I really have to get it done soon. And this is also when I purchased yarn from Lil Knits, the Cascade 220 from Lil Knits. I love it when they bring in new colors and I can choose the colors that I want. These colors sell out so quickly, so I urge you to be on their newsletter. And then if you are interested in Cascade 220 or any of the yarns they have there, you want to go quickly to get the colors that you want. The Faded Denim Heather I did use for my Fidalgo cardigan, which I also have a project vlog of, by Michele Frazetta. This color in Aspen Heather I have not used yet. I don't really have plans for it yet. Other than that, I want to make a pullover or a cardigan, maybe a cabled one for my husband sometime in the future. Might not be this year, might be next year or the year after, but I love this color. I think it's a great neutral, and whether it be something for myself or for my husband, I know at least I have a large sweater quantity of it. And so this is a purchase that I actually feel quite good about even now. And now we're in episode 29, and I think I haven't made any purchases here, but I am wearing my Bocce sweater, which I just finished, which feels really great. And in episode 30, I'm wearing the Sofarine tank, which I just bought yarn for, which also feels really great. But this is also when the local yarn store day happened, and Tea Cozy Yarn Shop was having a really great sale on some of these yarns, so I bought it without having specific plans for these yarns, and so we'll see if I've used some of them. Hopefully I've used some of these yarns. These hairspill cones I haven't used yet. I'm still not 100% set on what I'm going to make with this, but it's a beautiful yarn, so I'm sure I'll use it one day. It's just not anytime soon that I have immediate plans for it. And I did pick up more of the Sandusgarn Tinline, which I used for my Wayfinder tee by Alex of Skeiny Dippin'. I have a project vlog on it, and I love that tee so much. I really like Sandusgarn Tinline in general, even though it's slightly splitty after having worked with it. So I'm happy to say that I've used this yarn. The Quince & Co. Wimbrel and Waterline very thick cotton yarn. I used it for my Fortuna top by Sari Nordland in her Bug Summer Knits, and I do have a project vlog on that as well. Burns Yellow, I did not know what I was going to use it for, but I did use a little bit of it to make the middles of my Make Myself Flowers vest. I'm not sure if that counts, as it was such a little bit of the yarn, but I think going forward in projects, if I put in a little bit of this yellow mohair where it calls for it, then I'll be very happy having used the yarn for those types of purposes. The Madeline Tosh Woolen Cotton is something that I know I have that I haven't used yet. I think I might actually make a redemption for my Make Myself Flowers vest with this woolen cotton. I'm still kind of debating on whether I want to do that or if I want to do something completely different, but I think I have enough in different colors of this woolen cotton to make maybe something a little more color work with intarsia and all of that. So I'm still debating. I'm maybe thinking of the Moon Crush tank by Jacqueline Cieslak. I'm not sure, but it is something that I'm really happy to have, and this was on such a great deal that I had to get it. The Switchfire fibers that I picked up from the free library I have not used yet, but I still think it's beautiful. I'm still happy that I have it. As a side note, I carry this Puget Sound LYS tour bag everywhere. I've since changed bags, but I'm a type of person that doesn't like changing bags every day. I usually just take a bag and use it for a few months, and then when the seasons change or when the occasion changes, I change bags. I've changed bags now, but I'll probably come back to this bag because I love the back pocket and how deep it is, and that I can just stick my keys in there, and it doesn't really matter if this bag gets dirty or anything. So I really do love the design and this bag. Same thing with this Notions pouch. I know we said we won't talk about Notions and tools and things, but I am using this Notions pouch in everything. Even if I'm not using the redesigned 10 bags, I carry this notions pouch and I just change it in the different project bags. And just before episode 31, I met Maddie at Buy a Thread Knits. Of course, I always mention the same people over and over again, I know, but these are the people that are in my life. She gave me a couple of balls of yarn from her former nanny's baby's grandmother, and so these balls, I have not used any of them yet, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what pops up again to remind myself and see what I want to use this year. Immediately, these baby yarns, I don't have immediate plans for, but I'm sure that people around me will have babies that will want hats and everything, so I will save these for them. Now, looking back, I think that my daughter would actually really like it if her Labubu, if her blue Labubu has a pink sweater or cardigan, so I may make that for the Labubu instead. We picked out a blue one, or I picked out a blue one, but then she wanted it, so she's since now taken it, which is really great. She's 3.5 and she sleeps with it and everything, so I think it's getting a lot of good use. And so I have these 3. And she also brought me this, which is Cascade 220 Super. Oh yeah, I did get this dark aqua color. I think this would be really pretty in a hat maybe. Or, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to use it for, but also would be really nice in a color work sweater as well, so we'll see. I'm really happy I have this color. It's very saturated, just don't have any plans for it now. And the same thing with this Quattro. And she did give me this Let Lopi. I have a dark gray color that I have left over from making my husband's port jacket. I'm thinking I can hold the port jacket, or sorry, the Let Lopi, the dark gray heather, as well as this color to maybe make an Olga jacket with my petite knit. I'm not sure yet. Something striped, I'm thinking, then it wouldn't matter if I run out of one yarn and need to get a different dye lot of it. And so that's what's in my head right now, but again, no immediate plans for this. And I did receive this Grand Shetland Adventure Knits book that I still think is beautiful. I think that when it comes to fall winter season, I'll definitely take a better look at it and see exactly what I want to make with it. I definitely want to make something in this book. I just don't have concrete plans for it yet. And also it is summer season where I am, so something that's super woolly and color work isn't calling to me right now. But thinking about this, it would be a good idea to have this in mind when I go to Flock Fiver Festival. So maybe I have to take a look at it before. So I can pick different skeins or different mini skeins and see colors from different designers or yarn dyers and see if I can put something together to make something in this pattern. So I do have to think ahead because Flock is in August, and so I need to think ahead into the colder months. I'm still unsure of what I'll buy, but also I'm unsure of what pattern I'll make. So this is something that I know I want to get to, but again, I'm probably not going to get to it now. I use Rose and the Wren bags every day, and I've since gotten that tulip bag. In episode 32, thank you Stephanie again for the beautiful project bag. I'm using it for my current project for the Stockholm slipover v-neck. And Stephanie sent me this yarn, the Wool Dreamers Saona in the color Fratelli, and I definitely want to use it. I think I want to buy another ball of the Saona and hold it together, as in hold it for a striped pattern. I'm making a lot of striped things right now. I guess striping is calling to me right now. So we'll see what colors I get. I think Wool Dreamers will be at Flock this year as well, so I hope that they'll have some Saona. If they're not at Flock, then I'll have to see where else sells Wool Dreamers. I know there's a US store and I probably will buy it from there. I think some other online retailers sell it. I'm not sure if anybody local to me sells Wool Dreamers right now. All right, this is the big one. This is 30 minutes of pure acquisitions going through the Puget Sound LYS tour. I did only buy one thing, like one collection of yarn from each store, so I'm hoping that I got through some of it at least. I know some of it I did get through, but we'll see what comes through here and we'll fast forward as we've done for all of these videos. So first, Tico's Yarn Shop, my local yarn shop. I bought the Kelborn woolens in the color Mojave and the color Bright Yellow and Dandelion. I used both of these to make the Anjou tank as I planned, and so I'm really happy about that. Next is La Mercerie. I bought Knitting for Olive Merino in the color Cloud. I have 5 balls of it. I have plans to use it with another yarn held together. I'm not sure when I'll get to that, but this is something I do have plans for. It is such a basic yarn that I feel like I can use it for a lot of different purposes, which is why I bought it, but we'll see when I get to it. From Seattle Yarns, I bought the Sea Change Fibers yarn and I've since gifted it, so I feel great about that. For Hazel Knits, I'm unsure which category to put it in, used versus not used. I did use some of these yarns to make gnomes, but I also haven't used some of these yarns yet, so it'll probably be a mix of both. Out of the 4 mini skeins I bought, I used 3, so I haven't used Joyride yet. as well as sand dollar. And at Needle and Hooks, I bought the Cascade Noble Cotton in the color Deep Sea Coral, and I've used that just recently in the sardine sweater that I've made, and I have a project vlog on it as well. From Stricka, the 29 Bridges Studio yarn that I bought, I made buddy knit socks with my friend Betsy, the sway socks that were also a free pattern from the yarn store, so I'm really happy. I think this was the first item that I've made from everything that I bought during this yarn tour. So at Knitter Studio, I bought the Tumalo Fiber Soul Fingering yarn in the color Strawberry. I've yet to use this yarn. I want to, I'm just not sure if I'll get to it this season. Might have to be something that waits until spring or summer next year. So at Acorn Street Shop, I only got that one Laying Yarns Yeah Wall, so I'm really happy that that's the only purchase that I made from this shop. So I have plans on visiting the shop again because they just had so much yarn, but it makes it a lot less overwhelming because I think this is the last yarn that I bought from all of the stores that I visited during this yarn tour. So thinking back, I actually didn't do that badly since I've since used a lot of these yarns. I still have the sweater quantity. The 2 yarns should give me enough for a garment, for a summer garment of the Tumalo fibers, and also knitting for Olive Merino, but everything else I think I did pretty well on. That Yarn Dragon, I only got a pair of scissors, which I use. All right, so in episode 33, this is right after I went to the Puget Sound LYS tour, so I talk about all of my acquisitions in that video. So in this video, I don't have anything, which is great. In episode 34, I have the Durham Natura Antigone yarn in the color Mistral, and I've already made my mom her home cardigan with it, which was its intended purpose. This is when I met Day vlogged. I think she's now Day K vlogged, so I'll have her handles linked below and everything for everybody that I mentioned. But she came over to Seattle from New Mexico, and then she gifted me a couple of skeins as well. Both of those skeins I haven't used, and I'm not sure how immediate my plans for it are. So first, this Nitty Gritty yarn in the color Hibiscus. I haven't used it. I don't have immediate plans for it, but after seeing Stephanie Edible Thoughts makes her many mock neck tanks by Jessie Made Designs, I think that this might be a really great contender for that. And this Unshil hand-dyed yarn I am really wanting to use. It's a lace weight yarn. It's 1200 meters. It's going to be a lot to cake up, but I plan on holding this with the Knitting for Olive Merino that I just got during the Puget Sound LYS tour, and I think it might make a really nice marled white and this beautiful spring colored marled fabric. And I kind of want to make another tulip sweater with it by Melody Hoffman. That's my current plan. I might just make a no frill sweater, something pretty plain is what I'm getting at for what I want to make with this yarn. So I get the tulip bag. I love that tulip bag so much. I think out of all the bags, it's my #1 purchase because I've just been waiting for it for so long, and not so long, but I've just been waiting for it. I've been wanting it. And also, thank you so much to Jane for making this bag and holding it for me because it meant a lot, and I truly do love this bag. So when Day K vlogged, or Day Knitted, was in Seattle, we went to Tea Cozy Yarn Shop, and I did buy a couple things. I'm not sure if I bought yarn though, so we'll see. Okay, so I did buy Tin Silk Mohair, and that I used in my Make Myself Flowers vest that I just completed, and I bought this yarn for that vest, so it made sense that I made the vest and I used the yarn in the vest. Episode 35, we're starting off strong with something I haven't purchased but that I picked up, but it does mean that I went to Tea Cozy Yarn Shop, so we'll see what I get. But I did pick up this Bella Studio Fibers yarn that I still want to make something for my daughter in. Maybe I should use this yarn for her Labubu. I'm not sure yet, but this speckled yarn, I'm thinking it probably would be better served in a whole garment for her rather than a doll garment, because although she's obsessed with her doll, her Labubu right now, who knows how long that trend will last for her. All right, so this is when I picked up the Summer Knits book by Sari Nordland, and I did make the Fortuna top out of this book. I still want to make more things out of this book. I don't think it will happen this summer season unless I make it during late summer, but my queue is pretty backed up right now, but we'll see when it does. I mean, it's a book, and so I can make it next year if anything. I'm really happy that I have it though, because the patterns in the book are truly beautiful. And then my most recent episode, episode 36, I don't have anything that I bought. I was just gifted some tubing for knitting cords, which I still use. I love. Thank you, Maddie. As well as the buttons that my parents gifted me, but of course they're buttons. And that concludes all the items that I've purchased until the most recent knitting, sit-down knitting podcast / videocast type of video. I try to mention everything that I purchase just so that I can keep a track of it. When I look back and I see all the items that I've used versus not used, the trends I'm noticing are that if I actually purchase a project quantity of something, that's an actual garment, because I do knit a lot of garments. I do also like knitting accessories, but if I want to knit an accessory, then usually I purchase the yarn for a specific accessory. Like when I made all the hats for my parents, I knew that I was purchasing yarn for hats rather than purchasing yarn without a pattern and then making, or without anything in mind, and then making hats from the yarn that I have. So although my not yet used list I think might be longer than my used list in terms of total skeins used, I think I actually used more of the items that I've bought than not used, if that makes sense. Of the things that I have bought this year so far that I haven't used in a garment quantity, in a large quantity, number one would be the striped overload cardi that I mentioned so many times in this video. Maybe some of the silk mohairs that I bought that I have to pair now with different yarns that I want to use that was on sale. Another thing I'm really weak at are sales. So when sales happen, I think I can't resist and I bought a yarn even though I'm not sure exactly what it'll be used for. And same thing happened with the Madeline Tosh woolen cotton from Tea Cozy Yarn Shop, that I'm unsure of what I'll make with it, but I'm still really happy to have it. Some other sweater quantities are from Penna Story, the red yarn, same with the Cascade 220 from Little Knits, the Aspen Heather, and then the Kelburn Woolen Scout that I was gifted by my husband. I will use it, but I just don't have any immediate plans for it. I think for a lot of yarns that I was gifted to by friends, I also don't have immediate plans for, of course, because I wasn't sure that it would come in or what would come in. So I'm really grateful for those yarns and I'm sure I will get to it. I'm just not sure when. I think going through all the things I purchased actually makes me feel quite good, because I thought that I was doing a lot worse than I was, and I think that a lot of the yarn that I buy, because the skein is so pretty, so I buy single skeins of, I'm less likely to get through in an immediate time frame because I don't have anything in mind, of course. But also even days after or years after, I have quite a few sock skeins now that I want to make socks from, but I only realistically make maybe one sock a month, if that. So I'm not sure if buying sock skeins will be very productive for me unless I find a color that I fall in love with, of course. After going through this, I feel like now I just have to buy more project quantities of everything, which means that everything's going to be a little more expensive, or buy summer knit project quantities. Then that would only be 1, 2, 3 skeins of fingering weight or a lighter weight yarn, so maybe isn't as heavy on the wallet. If I want to make a winter garment out of a hand-dyed yarn, that it does get quite expensive, so I'm unsure of if I will do that at Flock. And after going through this and looking just at what I have, I think I want to do a giveaway of some of the skeins that I have in my collection that I probably won't get to in a appropriate timeline for myself personally. And so I'll probably do that when I hit around 2,000 subscribers. And so we'll get to that when we get to that, and I can see exactly what I want to give away to subscribers, like new skeins, versus what I want to put in the donation bin to take to Tea Cozy Yarn Shop in their little free library. That would be, so what I would give away would be unused skeins. What I would put into the donation little free library probably will be caked up new skeins that are already caked up, or some maybe skeins that I have used a bit of. So we'll see about that. And I also do spot a purchase pattern where when I'm physically going into my local yarn store, which happens to be Tea Cozy Yarn Shop that I've mentioned so many times in this video, but when I do go in to purchase, then and I purchase a specific quantity of yarn, I usually end up using that yarn pretty soon after because it's my local yarn store. And then when there are sales, like on Little Knits or something, then I'll buy yarn that I know I'll have in my collection for a while before I have any specific plans on getting to it. For example, the Cascade 220 and the Faded Denim Heather, I had no plans for, but then Michele released her Fidalgo cardigan test knit and I signed up, I got in, and so I created that Fidalgo cardigan with that yarn. But those two things were done completely separately. So I'm really happy to have yarn in my collection for sure. And I don't think this is in any way saying that I want to pare down the yarn I have. But I think I just have to be more realistic and see if I have a lot of sock quantities that I don't think I'm going to get to anytime soon, then maybe it's time to start giving some of them away. So all that to say, thank you for being here and going through this with me. I hope this was an enjoyable video for you to watch. I'm not sure what the editing process will be like. It might be quite choppy. And so I think those are the final thoughts on the things I've purchased this year. Could have been better, could have been worse. I mean, it is what it is. And but I think on the whole, I am doing the things that I set out to do this year. I said that I didn't want to do a yarn ban or track my yarn in terms of stash in, stash out. I just wanted to purchase when I felt good purchasing. And I think that's what I did, was just try to be more intentional with my purchases. Try to being the keyword. And also, I am just happy that I have the yarn that I have. Thank you so much for being here. I hope the video wasn't too choppy for you. And if this does well, I'll definitely do one again at the end of this year, beginning of next year, going through everything else I get. I know that the weak points for me are when there are fiber festivals or yarn tours or sales. And so Black Friday always gets to me. And so these are things that I try to plan for and I try to save money for. So I'll do financial wrap-ups and stuff during the wrap-up season, but I really wanted to get this out there. I hope your week is going well. This video is probably just coming out of nowhere, but I will be back with a sit-down video next week, and that will be a regular sit-down video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.